Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you a new series made by Anime King himself, guys. Part 1 of What If Naruto Was a Perfect Experiment. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Part of a Legendary 7 over on Anime King and enjoy that. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post out every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. The village, hidden within the leaf, known as Konoha, to most people, was one of the strongest villages in the nation. Through the entire elemental nation, after all, they'd never lost a war before. They always managed to somehow come out on top, forcing other nations to create a peace pact between them so the war could finally stop. But tonight was not a good night at all. As the Hokage's tower, a man was slowly making his way towards the office that belongs to Hiruzen Sarutobi, the man with long white hair. As the moment he got close enough, he felt it. There was an aura that settled down on the entire place, threatening to consume everything whole. Hiruzen Sarutobi, despite getting up there in his age, he was now showing that he was not a man to be trifled with. The door of the office opened as Hiruzen turned. His eyes looked so murderous, filled with nothing but rage. But there was also a piece of regret in it. The man that entered was none other than his old student, Jiraiya of the Sannin. "Jiraiya, please tell me you found something," Hiruzen said. A sad look came on Jiraiya's face. "I'm sorry, Sensei." Hiruzen slammed his hand down the table. Usually, the man was a rather calm man, but now, there was no way he could be calm. "The envoys are still out, searching. The reason I'm here is because I'm gonna be gone for a while," Jiraiya said. "I'm not gonna return until I bring him back." Hiruzen was angry. No, he was pissed off, and not to mention angry with himself as well. Orochimaru, his prized student. Despite how bad it might sound, Orochimaru was his favorite. But the man turned out to be such a disappointment. Hiruzen blamed himself though. He had known that Orochimaru was doing something behind his back. Something dangerous. Even before Minato was elected Hokage. But he pushed everything under the rug, and he did not inform Minato. So Orochimaru stayed in the village. Orochimaru was here when they faced off against the Ninth Tail. He was here when Kushina gave birth. Although not in the exact same room, he knew he was there to help them, as him and Hiruzen had faced off against the Nine Tails, which was no easy feat, although they didn't come anywhere near to wounding it. So Minato had to make the ultimate choice and sacrifice his life, and Hiruzen took the mantle once again. And then it started once again. Rumors, but this time these rumors turned reality when children start to go missing. Hiruzen had tried his best to find a way to tell himself that this was not Orochimaru doing, but things became too worse. And he confronted him because he wanted to give him a choice. He wanted him to turn himself in. He wanted to have his favorite student despite everything that he has done. That was how much he cared about him. But no, instead Orochimaru chose to run. But he did not leave alone. He took Naruto with him. Naruto Uzumaki, a 2-year-old boy, the son of Minato and Kushina Uzumaki, the matriarch of the orphanage, had watched it happen because she also had contempt for Naruto, but there wasn't anything that she could do against Orochimaru. And now Orochimaru was gone in the wind, and no one could find him. Jiraiya gave Hiruzen a serious nod as he left. He wasn't going to stop until he bring Naruto back. He could not fail Kushina and Minato another time. He has already failed enough. By not being there on that night to help them. By not being there to at least do something so that his student could be alive along with his wife. Time skip. Danzo was currently down within his base. His root base. As he felt it. The small tremors. The wind rustling violently. That oppressive aura. It seems like his friend was truly angry. As Hiruzen Sarutobi, known as the Professor, or the God of Shinobi, marched down there. Hiruzen had told Danzo to disband Root, but Danzo never did. Hiruzen knew about that, but he never stopped it because Root did the job that his Shinobis were incapable of doing. Things that were decrepit. Although it was a heinous act, sometimes darkness was needed. So despite his claims, Hiruzen allowed it to happen. But now, he wanted answers. As Danzo was calmly sitting on his throne. "How can I help you?" asked Danzo, looking calm as ever. "I'm only going to say this once," said Hiruzen. "If you know where Orochimaru is taking Naruto, tell me." "I'm afraid I don't, old friend," said Danzo. "After all, why would I want that snake to be taking our weapon away from the village? Think, Hiruzen, that would be bad for the village in a whole. And you know I only want the good for Konoha. Danzo, you had dealings with Orochimaru. You wanted him to become Hokage. It leads me to believe that you are still in contact with him, despite your claims." "I am afraid I am not," said Danzo. As Hiruzen's fist clenched, "I'm warning you, Danzo. If I ever find out that you're also wrapped up in this, you will not be spared." "Is that a threat?" "No, it's a promise," said Hiruzen as he stepped forward. "I will end you," Hiruzen said, "and that's a promise. If I find a single shred of reason to show that you're with Orochimaru in this, you will no longer be on this mortal plane." As Hiruzen then turned, as he finished what he had to say and simply marched out. Despite Danzo putting on a brave face, there was a small bead of sweat running down his face. His friend can be scared when he wanted to be. After Danzo was sure that he was gone, someone flashed beside him wearing a mask. "Is it done?" Danzo asked. "Yes, Danzo-san. He got away safely. The envoys have been misleaded." As Danzo smiled at that, phase one of his plan in formation. Time skip. Orochimaru was currently looking down at a small 2-year-old boy that was currently asleep. Beside him was none other than his loyal apprentice, Kabuto Yakushi. "Orochimaru-sama, what about the Akatsuki?" asked Kabuto. As Orochimaru frowned at that name, he had been dealing with that group for over 4 years now. While inside the Hidden Leaf Village, they had helped fund this organization, and he did missions for them. He gave them sensitive information that would help boost their own organization. While they gave him funding, and also valuable specimens for his experiments. But Orochimaru was never one to be controlled, as he saw they were trying to turn him into some kind of pawn, and he refused to be anyone's pawn. So he had cut all ties with them and remained in the Hidden Leaf for another year. He had put up the act very well, but he needed those kids, and he had taken them one by one. And soon the rumors started to spread. He covered his tracks so well, but the old man wasn't called the professor for nothing. But this made Orochimaru smile as he looked down. The Akatsuki was quite interested in the Ninetales Jinchuriki hosts, asking about his condition. That had made Orochimaru take an interest in the boy, Naruto Uzumaki, a child that was seen as nothing but a nuisance at the orphanage when he went to visit. It got Orochimaru thinking, why would the Akatsuki care so much about the Night-Tailed Jinchurikis? Why would a group made up of nothing but S-rank criminals be fulfilled with doing mercenary jobs? Oh no, that wasn't the case. It was rather easy to find out when he removed that mind control that Sasori had over Kabuto and free him. He was able to find out some information about the group. It seems like the leader trusted Sasori a lot more than him. Well, he should. And it wasn't hard to find out after that he wanted the tailed beasts. But this one, Orochimaru knew that the group was coming after him because he left and he also took their ring with him. They did not want to give themselves away just yet, so they did not come for him inside of Konoha. Every day he put the village at risk, but he did not care about that, as long as he got what he wanted. And now, as he smiled to himself, he would turn the very thing that they want into a weapon that can exterminate them. Oh, they will be handled, Kabuto. They will be handled, Orochimaru said, with a cryptic smile on his face. Time skip. 5 years later, as Danzo Shinura currently stood in front of the infamous Snake himself, a rather secluded hideout where no one will find them having their deals. It's been 5 years, Orochimaru said. Danzo, your reports have been getting less and less up to this point. I have no idea. What is the boy's condition? Oh, Orochimaru licked his lips. I assure you, things are going rather well with him. Although my notes have been getting rather limited, that is because you have been lacking in your part of the deal. Danzo narrowed his eye in anger. It's not easy to keep the majority of Anbu forces off of you all day, 24/7. Your locations are getting less and less secretive. Person, are you able to pick them up a lot easier now? Why are you slacking? Oh, I assure you, I'm far from slacking. It's just that Harrison has not given up hope yet. He's determined to find me and Naruto. After all, Naruto is the Jinchuriki of their village. I'm sure that the council is putting a lot of stress on him. Yes, there is. And I have to play my part as well, said Danzo, to make sure it looked like it's believable. But I gave you that boy so that you could change him, twist him into a perfect pawn for me. And when the time comes, I will take him back. And when I use him to take care of Harrison, and I become Hokage, Konoha will ally itself with you. And you can do all the research that you want, as long as it doesn't interfere with my status as Hokage. As Orochimaru smiled at that. Well, it might take a bit longer. Things are going well with the specimen, but children are rather impressionable. What happened? Asked Danzo in an angry tone. Well, let's just say he has proven to be quite the odd one with his personality. What do you mean by that? Well, he's different, Orochimaru said, and that's all I can really tell you right now. And there's not much that you can do regarding his personality, given that you can't fully enter his mind without the fox ripping you apart. So I have to mold him into the right weapon that you so want, Danzo. But he's proven to be a lot difficult than I thought. And what has his personality copied off of? Well, as you know, I have a few strange ones around me, and he started to mimic a few of them. But that isn't a problem, Danzo. As long as you keep up your end of the bargain and give me all that I need, all the fundings for my new research, I will keep my end up as well. It's not like I really want the child, but you need him. As Danzo clenched his fists. Time skip. 4 years later, as Danzo sat in his throne. For the past 3 years, Orochimaru has not contacted him since about Naruto progress at all. As Danzo believed that Orochimaru was trying to play him for a fool. The reason being it was the Uchiha massacre. And there was only 2 Uchihas left in the world right now. Itachi Uchiha, that was now a missing name, and his younger brother Sasuke Uchiha. Orochimaru wanted that boy. Danzo had told him to bring back Naruto first. and they will talk about him getting Sasuke, although Danzo never planned on handing Sasuke over. He wanted Sasuke as his tool as well, but Hiruzen was making it difficult, but he would find a way. But Orochimaru was proving dangerous right now because he was slowly cutting contact with him, but Danzo had kept trails on Orochimaru all the time, so he knew where Naruto was at the moment, and Orochimaru was not there. Fu flashed beside him. As he looked towards his faithful root agent, send over the information. Today, the Kyuubi and Julki return back home. Time skip. 3 sound ninjas rush into the secluded base. They were far away from the hidden sound, near, up in the mountains near Takumo, but not close enough to be detected by the village ninjas. As the first one knocked on the door repeatedly, but no one answered, he then banged on it several more times. What? A voice came from inside, sounding rather pissed off, like the person was just awoken. As footsteps could be heard, slowly, the door opened to show a boy. He was 11 years old, blonde hair that reached down into his back, crystal blue eyes, the brightest shade of blue you'd ever see. His body was toned and lean. For an 11-year-old, it must be because of all the enhances. The sound ninja knew his place. Naruto-sama, he said, we must leave. Somehow, we have been founded by Konoha ninjas, and it will take them a few minutes to get in here. They're coming after you. We must leave now. Konoha ninjas, you say? Said the boy now known as Naruto, as he looked down toward his hands. Where are the rest of the forces here? They've gone out to subdue them, while we take you and leave, sir. Oh, is that so? So you three are the only ones here right now, while the rest of them out there are fighting? Yes, the tunnels can lead us underground under Kumo, and there we can pass through. The man stopped talking, as he gurgled on his own blood. The 2 sound ninjas behind him stepped back as they watched the man drop down to the ground, a gaping hole in his chest. Before they could even move, they found their heads hitting the wall with such force, it was crushed under the boy's palms. He looked toward his bloody palms as he reached down and tore one of the sound ninja clothing and wiped the blood off his hand. He cleaned his nails that were rather sharp as he dropped the cloth on the ground. He then performed a single hand sign as he took a breath, before he released a steady stream of red flames from his mouth. The red flames ate away at the body, completely burning them down to a crisp. He then smiled as he went inside, scratching his face where his wrist marks were, as he lay down on the bed and just waited. A few minutes later, he heard explosions. He heard footsteps making their way towards him, as he saw the door was literally ripped off the hinges, as he saw a man standing there, long white hair, fluttering. Naruto? The man said, as Naruto turned his head towards the man. Time skip. Hiruzen was a relief. After 9 years, after 9 long years and a couple of months, they were finally able to find Naruto. The scouting envoy team that Hiruzen regularly sent out to try and find Orochimaru was informed by someone. It was rather sketchy, but the person was wearing a hood. He just told them where Naruto was, and Jiraiya happened to be close to Kuma at the moment in his search. In the past 9 years, the man had not given up, despite the option looking bleak that Naruto was still alive. After all, Orochimaru was a sadistic bastard. Jiraiya had went in there alone until the envoys arrived. When the envoys arrived, they saw the bodies of the sound ninjas. They had all tried to stop Jiraiya, but he butchered all of them in his path to getting Naruto once and for all. At this very moment, both Jiraiya and Hiruzen were making their way. The boy had just passed out after he had saw Jiraiya. Jiraiya feared that he was poisoned or something, because he was worried for Orochimaru to just leave him here. But when he checked his pulse, he was alive. He had used Ma, and she went through the well and arrived in Konoha before reverse summoning Jiraiya there, who had the boy. And they were brought directly back to Konoha. Right now, the both of them were making their way, as Hiruzen instantly handed the boy over to one of the medics to make sure that he was okay just in case. If Orochimaru did this on purpose, setting in last minute traps for them. Hiruzen was relief. For the past 9 years he had been feeling nothing but depressed, sadness, anger, rage, as he had failed Kushina and Minato's last wishes to protect their son. But now he was back. The boy was finally back, home where he was supposed to be. As the both of them stood in front of a special room that they have cordoned off for the boy alone. Inside, there he was in the bed. The doctor came out as he walked up to Hiruzen. In terms of health, he's fine. Actually, he is more than fine. What do you mean by that, said Jiraiya? His body is moving at an unnatural rate that I have never seen in a human before. Most likely this boy has underwent various experiments that have changed him completely, but at no cost to his health, because he's perfectly fine. I've sent his blood down to the lab to be tested to find out more, but we won't know about his mental state until he has awoken. Hiruzen clenched his fist when he heard the word experiments. He knew that Orochimaru would do something like this. Who was he kidding? It was then that the boy slowly opened his eyes as he lay there in the bed. As Hiruzen stepped past the doctor along with Jiraiya as they made their way inside the room. As Naruto's eyes focused on the both of them, but he said nothing. He just looked at them before turning away. He then looked down towards himself as he was still in his pants. He wasn't wearing a shirt. He slowly picked himself up. Easy, Naruto, said Hiruzen. I'm sure that you have many questions. Well, one actually, said Naruto. Jiraiya heard how the boy spoke. So calm. Like he wasn't worried at all, despite not being where he was supposed to be. After all, anyone that has been kept away for so long, there was surely some kind of bond that was formed between their captor and them. It has been 9 years after all. But yet, the boy seemed so calm, like he did not care about anything around him. I'm not restrained, said Naruto. I mean, I was with one of Konoha's dangerous missinents, and yet I'm not restrained. You trust me that much. Yet if I was programmed to do something, this would be the perfect opportunity for me to kill you, said Naruto, as he looked towards Hiruzen. Hiruzen's posture did not change. He just looked at Naruto calmly. And if that was the case, it wouldn't be you doing that action. It would be something that was forced upon you, Hiruzen said. I was told that you were a naive man, but yet, Orochimaru did not tell me that you were this kind, said Naruto. Well, thanks for the trust. In return, what do you want to know, said Naruto. I'm judging you have questions. Jiraiya narrowed his eyes. You seem unaffected by this whole change or anything. Why is that? Well, I figured that it was about time I got rescued. I mean, I do know that I was taken from the village. This village being back when I was young, and brought to Orochimaru. But you guys took 9 years to rescue me. I mean, that's pathetic. I mean, aren't you guys like the strongest village in the elemental nation? Weren't you supposed to find me rather quickly? Apologies, Hiruzen said, but it has been rather difficult to get track of you. Yeah, I suppose you're right there, Naruto. If Orochimaru was one thing, he was surely a damn good hider. I mean, he has been hiding his entire life now. Well, I'm finally out of that stuck-up place, Naruto. You guys must be wondering, do I feel indebted or loyal to him? Or has he somehow gained my trust and is using me to wreak havoc on this village? As Hiruzen narrowed his eyes at those words. Don't worry, old man, said Naruto. You extended a branch of trust to me, so I'll do the same to you. Why, said Jiraiya. As Naruto turned his head towards him, Jiraiya was curious. You don't know us. You've been with Orochimaru your entire life. The things that you're saying is like you want us to suspect you as the enemy. Well, it's not like you can actually enter my mind, said Naruto. Because of my elder friend, he would tear you guys apart. So that's a big no-no, you see? There I go saving one of your ninja's life. I mean, you would have used the Yamanaka to enter my mind, correct? and they would have been killed. So, that's another sign of my trust towards you people, said Naruto, as he gave them a smile. Time skip. As Hiruzen watched as Inoichi and Ibiki exit the room, Jiraiya standing beside him. So far, Hokage-sama, there seemed to be nothing wrong with his mental state, and he's aware of everything, Inoichi said. Ibiki then spoke next. Either my skills have dulled over the years, or that kid is the world's best liar, which I doubt. Everything that he said so far is the truth. Jiraiya was confused. So, after all these years of experiments, everything that Orochimaru has done to him, you're telling me that there is actually no psychic damage on his mind whatsoever? Yes, said Inoichi. Perhaps. It's a precaution of the fox, stopping them from entering his mind at all, to change it in somehow. His personality though, it seemed very natural for him, like he was bred this way. An environment that he grew up in. The children's mind is something very mimicking. A personality that he absorbed over the past couple of years that is now completely bonded with him. As Hiruzen's mind started to go over a lot within seconds, Jiraiya then spoke up. What about what Orochimaru did to him? As Ibiki turned his head towards Hokage, is it time that we ask the serious questions instead of checking up on his mental health now? Before Hiruzen could answer that, an envoy arrived. He had a folder that he handed Hiruzen. As Hiruzen took it, Hiruzen opened the folder. As Jiraiya looked over his shoulder, it was Naruto's medical report. Both men's eyes went wide. The next moment, the four men entered the room once again, as Hiruzen calmly placed the paper down in front of Naruto. Can you explain this? Hiruzen asked, as Naruto picked up the sheet of paper in front of him. What's this? It's a medical report done on you, when they test your blood, while you were unconscious, said Jiraiya. Oh, is that so? Said Naruto. Would you mind explaining? Said Hiruzen. You told me that you would offer the same kind of trust to me that I did for you. So can you explain this to me? Well, as far as I can see, everything right here is correct, said Naruto. But something like this should not be possible, said Inoichi, as he looked towards the medical report. Senju and several other DNAs mixed into one. Your body shouldn't be operating right now. You shouldn't even be alive. Well, as Orochimaru put it, I'm the perfect experiment, said Naruto. I guess my body is just that perfect. You speak of Orochimaru so fondly, said Jiraiya. Do you admire him? Oh, far from it, said Naruto. And in actuality, I want to kill that son of a bitch. I mean, some of the experiments were rather gruesome, and some of them I had to be awake for my system to be fully operative, and I must say it was horrible. Pain, excruciating pain. But that's over with now, said Naruto, and it did give me these awesome abilities. Naruto, this is not a good thing, said Hiruzen. Naruto squeezed his palm. When he opened back his hand, there was a small flower inside his palm. A crystal flower. You're telling me, being able to do something like this is awesome, he said. As he crushed it, it vanished as he opened back his palm into dust. Are you able to use all those abilities that triggers from all those DNAs that were implanted inside your body? Asked Ibiki. Maybe not. Why do you want to know, said Naruto. Well, considering who you got them from, we have to. It's not a problem, said Naruto, waving the man off. It's not like I'm here to destroy the village or anything. I mean, what did you people ever do to me for me to hate you? And not to mention the first time I met you, old man. You were so nice by not restraining me. So good on you, said Naruto as he gave my thumbs up. That's not the point, Naruto, said Hiruzen. You have been with Orochimaru for the past 9 years. And within that time, anyone can break. Well, I guess I'm not just anyone, said Naruto. Because as you can see, I'm perfectly fine. So, what's gonna happen now? I mean, I've been cooped up here for so long. I'm kind of getting hungry. His stomach grumbled to show that. Give us a minute, said Hiruzen, as he walked outside the room, as the others followed. What do you think? Asked Jiraiya. It's the same way when we ask him questions. He's calm, not showing any sign of lying. But yet, it is quite impossible for me to just believe that, after the past 9 years, he has been able to maintain this state of complete ignorance to everything around him, to the point where what Orochimaru did to him was just a small annoyance. His mind is intact. That is a confusing part. I see no resentment or hatred towards us, either. He's one of the most skilled ninjas in hiding his emotions in the world. Or he's just telling the truth. But that makes no sense, said Jiraiya. Why wouldn't Orochimaru turn him against us? He hates this village, he hates all of us. That we don't know. Meanwhile, Orochimaru had a snarl in his face. In front of him was a dead body. It was one of the sound ninjas that had reported to him that Naruto was taken by Konoha after they had went by the base and found the sound ninjas dead, and remaining leaf ninjas scouting the area. They could not go close, otherwise they would be found out. Orochimaru was so pissed he killed the man without even thinking. Walking inside the room was none other than Kimimaro, one of his loyal subordinates. Sir, I just heard from the others that Naruto was taken. Orochimaru clenched his fists. Kimimaro, you've known him for 9 years now. Do you really believe that it would be so easy for him to be taken without putting up a fight? Do you believe that he went with them willingly? Yes, Orochimaru said. You know him. Indeed I do, sir, said Kimimaro. So what do we do now? For now, leave him. Konoha will be hectic right now if we try to do anything. And I doubt if he went there on purpose he'd want to come back so quickly. I believe all the talks about Konoha got him curious. He always said that he wanted to visit there. I know he has his wish. But it just depends on what he would do there. You and I both know that Naruto isn't exactly normal. And that's coming from me, said Orochimaru. Kimimaro knew, yes. He knew that Naruto was not normal, and that was coming from them, of all person. But sir, what about the information that he has? Oh, don't worry about that. He won't tell anyone anything. That will jeopardize me and my operation. Why not, sir? Well, that is just the kind of person that he is, said Orochimaru with a confident smirk, even though he was pissed off. Orochimaru knew things that many people didn't know about Naruto, and that is why he was sure that his operation was safe. Well, he would just leave Naruto for now. It's only a matter of time before he returns back home, after he got the thrill of doing what he wanted to do. Meanwhile, back at Konoha, this shit is amazing, said Naruto, as he was currently chowing down on some ramen. Hiruzen smiled, although his foul attitude was kind of a problem. He was a good person. I knew that he would like it, Hiruzen said. Minato and Kushina. Well, Kushina mostly was obsessed about ramen, so he figured that it would run down. Well, given Naruto multiple DNAs right now, and how they were just perfectly syncing together, he was not sure if Naruto was just a Uzumaki anymore. After all, Orochimaru changed the boy for good. It's only a matter of time before they see what that has done to him fully. Hiruzen had not yet asked him the serious question that he needed to know, as he was giving the boy time before he dived into that part. Things like where was Orochimaru based, and what did he do to him? Everything right there and right then. As Ayam was there with a smile on her face. She knew people enjoy their ramen, but this boy was taking it out of proportion. Well, and the cursing was a bit too much. Her father was in the kitchen preparing another pot, as there was already 5 bowls gathered beside the boy. You sure do love ramen, she said. Oh, it's awesome, said Naruto. Never had it before. Ayam didn't know who this boy was, but it seems that they have a new customer that will be here a lot, judging by the way that he scarfed down the ramen. As Naruto finished his 6th bowl and placed it down. So, he said, got a boyfriend? Ayam blinked, as she never expected that. Even Hiruzen stopped, as he looked towards Naruto. I mean, such a gorgeous girl as you. Not to mention you make wonderful food. You're like the ideal package, said Naruto. So what do you say that me and you go out? A date, perhaps. This, as he looked towards Hiruzen. What's the day, he said. Thursday, Hiruzen said, as he was just shocked by this. How about Friday? That's tomorrow, said Naruto. I'll take you out on a wonderful date. She was just taken aback by how bold he was. Sorry, she said, but I have work tomorrow. And not to mention, I'm sure that you'd rather find someone in your age group. Nah, girls my age are always, well, not always, but most of the time they're just stupid. I mean, I want someone grown, like you, said Naruto. Although you're not that old, you're probably still in your teens. So what do you say? How about you and I go on a wonderful date? I'm sure the old man right here could flip the bill, said Naruto. As Toki then came around. What's going on, he asked. Oh, this is your father, correct? Ayam simply gave him a nod. Hello there, sir, said Naruto. I'm just here asking out your wonderful daughter on a date. But she hasn't given me the yes yet, so I was wondering if you could talk to her. You should know I'm a good guy, not to mention powerful, and I would treat her right. As Toki looked at Naruto, but you're just a kid, he said. Yeah, but I'm kind of wise for my age, said Naruto. Well, that can be talked about another time, Hiruzen said, interrupting Naruto. Right now, we need to go. There's much to be discussed. Oh, come on, old man. Why block me like that, said Naruto. I'm sure that you'll have another opportunity. But for now, we have to go, Hiruzen said. Alright, fine. As Naruto looked at Ayam and gave her a wink. As he reached out and took her hand, as he gave it a gentle kiss. Just a glimpse of how romantic I am. As he gave her a small wink. Think about it, he said. As he got up, Hiruzen looked towards them, as he paid for the meal. As none of them knew what to say, as they wasn't expecting that at all. As Hiruzen thanked them as he made his way off. Well, he sure is a brave one, said Toki. That he is, said Ayam, as she watched him walk away. You know, you really blocked me there, said Naruto. I mean, bros don't do that to each other. And you already showed me that you can trust me. So we are bros now, said Naruto. But yet you just had to go and block me. Damn, said Naruto. What's so important that we had to do? Hiruzen gave Naruto a soft smile. Sorry about blocking you, he said. But that can happen another time. There's still more to discuss. Let me guess. You want to know all about Orochimaru. So far, you prevented anyone from asking me any questions about him directly. Hiruzen gave a nod. Well, to tell you the truth, there isn't much that I know about him. I mean, he just came by a few times. I always found a way to piss him off. I don't really like him that much. Although I couldn't kill him because he's ridiculously powerful. But still, the more I grew, the more I knew that he was afraid of me. Afraid of you, said Hiruzen. Yeah, said Naruto. Because he created me, but he then found out that he couldn't control me. And everything he tried failed. Any seals he tried to put on me that were to corrupt my mind and twist me in some ways, they were eventually destroyed by the fox. My fluffy friend is a good one, said Naruto, as he heard a growl in his head that made him laugh. Do you speak to the fox here and asked? Yeah, said Naruto, once in a while. Although he doesn't want to admit it. We're friends, we've been through a lot together, although he will never say it out loud. And when I do say that, he do things to make sure I don't think that we're friends, even though he knew that we're friends. Once again he heard the growl in his head, but he shrugged it off. As for Orochimaru, let's just say that he's been doing a lot of twisted things over the past couple of years, going as far as killing people, even making me kill people. Hiruzen looked towards him. Yeah, that's right. He made me kill over 100 ninjas already. Not too powerful, but just to test my power to see if I'm able to control all my abilities. And guess what? It was a success. As Naruto smiled, they were quite weak though. I mean, I could crush their skulls with my hand, so it's not anything to really worry about. So yeah, I made note of that one alive. Naruto Hiruzen said, I know that being the Orochimaru, your sense of self is twisted in many ways. But killing people for unnecessary means is not a good thing to do. You have been twisted by that man, and I'm here to show you that his ways are corrupted and wrong. Oh, I know they are, said Naruto, but being bad is kind of better than being good. I mean, who wants to be the hero? Harrison frowned at that this was not going where he wanted. But I guess I can change, said Naruto. I've been bad for the last couple of years, so I guess I can give this good thing a try, said Naruto. Before Harrison could say anything else, Anvo flashed in front of him, as he whispered something to Hokage. Harrison frowned as the man flashed away. Huh, aren't you the Hokage? Naruto asked. Harrison turned towards him. Of course, he said. Then why are your council members, I mean your advisors, calling a meeting and summoning you? I must say, you're really lacking in your duties. I mean, you're the one in charge. You're supposed to tell them to go shove that order right up there, Naruto Harrison said, stopping him. You know I'm right, said Naruto. I mean, acting too soft is gonna make people take advantage of you. I guess they want me to come to this meeting as well. You heard that, said Harrison. As Naruto tapped his ear. I have a rather sensitive earring, he said. So, how about we go talk to this council member of yours? I'm sure they want to know about Orochimaru as well. And I'm sure that you are going to give them this information freely because you're basically a simp for this village. But, who am I to judge? You're a village. Run till you want, said Naruto, as he started to walk off. Despite his words being harsh, Harrison knew that he was right. He has let Koharu and Homura get away with a lot. Not to mention one of those things being restarting. The civilian council after Minato had disbanded. Minato had taken away their power, and Harrison had let them restart it. Because there were certain things that he couldn't be bothered with at the moment. Things that he had to focus on. And one of those main things were finding Naruto, but now those people are using their powers to try and get a one-up on him. Even though he was Hokage. As both of them made their way, it didn't take them too long as they arrived towards the room. As Naruto was in his black shirt that was given to him by Harrison, it was a bit too big for his size. So he was trying to take it off, but Harrison was forbidding it. He had to at least look a bit formal. As Naruto has been wearing this shirt since he was eating ramen, he didn't seem to like wearing shirt that much, it seems. As they finally entered the room, as Naruto saw all the eyes, he saw all of the ninja clan heads. And also the civilian council as well. And not to mention 2 advisors. And then he saw Danzo Shimura. As Naruto turned towards the man, the smile on his face. Danzo was taken aback by this. He had warned Orochimaru. The one thing that he told Orochimaru never to do was include his name whenever talking to the boy. The boy must never know of him just in case. But that smile must have meant something. Danzo started to panic as Naruto gently looked around the room. All eyes were focused on him. The news had quickly spread, not in the village but within the council, the civilian and the ninja council. So they knew that he was back. Most people had forgotten about the Kyuubi over the past couple of years, and they wished to make it stay that way. Not having Naruto here as a reminder, the people were forced to grieve, and they were able to miss their loss without seeing Naruto and feeling bad because he was the demon child that took everything away from them. So it was good. People had accepted their loss and moved on with their life. Some of them more than most though. But now he was back. The civilian council had been trying to keep the peace, not to mention using that to get what they want. After all, these rich cocky bastards were the richest civilians in the village. They owned most of the shops, the hotels, everything. And not to mention they had power. A lot of power. Because of Harrison being slack on his duty, and the civilian council was formed, they had been so pissed when Minato had disbanded the council, taking away all of their power, turned them into nothing but mere civilians. But now, they were once again powerful. Now they had the money and the power. So this is the boy, huh? One of the civilian council spoke up, the moment Harrison sat down. Before Harrison could say something, Naruto spoke up. I beg your pardon. The name is not the boy. It's Naruto Uzumaki. I suggest you remember it. As the man snarled, I suggest you watch your tone, boy, and have some manners towards your elders. Elders? Manners? All I see in front of me is a stuck-up, arrogant piece of shit. And I really hate people like you. So I suggest that you refrain from talking to me as you please. The man clenched his fists. What did you just say? Oh, I apologize, said Naruto. I never knew that you were deaf. As Naruto started to weave hand signs. I don't know much about sign language, but do you understand, said Naruto, moving his hand all about. The man's face was turning red with nothing but anger at this disrespectful child. Naruto, that's enough, said Hiruzen. As Naruto simply chuckled. So, what do you old geezers want, he said, as he looked towards the others. You sure have a foul mouth, said Koharu. Yeah, and you have rather saggy boobs, said Naruto. Koharu's face turned beet red in anger. Look here, brat! You being angry is not gonna change how saggy they are, said Naruto. I know, that's a perfect nickname for you. Saggy. You old saggy, said Naruto. That's enough out of you, Homura said. Be quiet, or we won't ask again. As Naruto looked around. Or what? You gonna detain me? Naruto, that's enough, Hiruzen said once more. This is not the reason why we came here. This child is rather disrespectful, Hokage-sama. Just coming here and already showing that amount of disrespect to his elders. This will not be easily forgiven. That's right, one of the civilian members shouted out. He is the cause of most people's pain. If they find out about him that he's back, and not to mention with this kind of attitude, it would not go easy. How am I the cause of anyone's pain, said Naruto? I mean, I'm just an innocent child. Innocent? The man that was insulted earlier spoke up. You innocent? After all the things that you did? All the things I did, said Naruto. I'm surprised. I thought I was gone for the past 9 years. Seems I was somehow here as well. Well, good on you, said Naruto. That's enough, Hiruzen said. All of you be quiet. And let's get down to the main reason why this meeting was called. Koharu, Homura. Well, Hokage-sama, we want to discuss the new developments that are gonna take place now that this boy has returned. It is clear that his attitude is going to be a problem, as we can see right now. But that is not only the case. The civilian council has kept things in perfect health since they have reformed their group and maintained everything so that you don't have to focus on the meaningless things of the village. The Shinobi Council is still doing as they do while the civilian is working on the village. So we would like to know what will happen with this boy now that he's back if the people of the village find out. We're afraid that this hate and resentment would return and things would not be good for the village. As Naruto burst out laughing as they all turned towards him. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just wondering, are you buying this shit? Said Naruto as he looked towards Hiruzen. Keeping the village good and safe? I mean, didn't you notice while we were coming here? I saw some kids on the street. I mean, they weren't looking so good. Their clothes were torn and looked rather old. If you people are in charge of keeping this village stable, I mean, aren't they supposed to be in good condition? I've seen a village in a bad condition, and trust me, they didn't have half amount of the money that Konoha has right now. So where is all that money going? I'm wondering, is it going in these old fossils' pockets? Said Naruto. Hokage-sama, reprimand him or something. Oh, he won't do anything, said Naruto. I must say that respect that I've gained for you is dwindling a bit. I mean, you're kind, yes, but you're perhaps too kind, letting these old fossils get away with what they want. I mean, you're the Hokage. Stand up for God's sake. As the room was shocked, he was talking to the Hokage like that. Naruto Hiruzen said, you're right, I am the Hokage, and you disrespecting me like that will not stand here. So I suggest you watch your tone. And what about them? Said Naruto. Aren't you gonna reprimand them as well for all their bullshits? Oh, let me guess, you have no evidence, so you won't do anything about it. But as I said, it's not my village, so do as you please. Now let's get back to the subject at hand. So, Sage, said Naruto, what exactly do you want? As Koharu eyed twitch at that. This is your last and final warning, boy, Koharu said. You hear from Hokage himself. Just because you've been away for a long while, you feel you can do as you please. Away? Oh, you've mistaken, I was kidnapped, said Naruto. I mean, you're supposed to know that. I mean, you are like up there in the village ranks. Or perhaps you're losing your memory. Oh, dementia. Well, you're old and saggy, so perhaps that is the reason, said Naruto. Harrison, this boy should be detained and thrown in the Anvu cells. He has no respect for no one around him, including you, and we will not stand for it. Up to this point, none of the clan heads had said nothing, as Tasumi wanted to laugh. Well, the boy was being disrespectful to Hokage and she didn't like that. That got her angry, but seeing him talk to Homura like that, and Koharu, and not to mention Civilian Council, that none of them really liked, it was rather entertaining. Hayashi was looking at the disrespectful boy. He wasn't saying anything, as Shikaku was just tired. This was going to be another troublesome event to the village, as he could already see that this boy was being rather troublesome. And he just arrived. How more worse will it get? As the others were thinking the same thing as well. Anvus, detain her, said Naruto. As the Anvus blinked at that. What? You have no right to order them around. I think I have more right than you, said Naruto. And what makes you feel that way? Well, given that you're just an advisor, while I am the son of the 4th Hokage, I believe that is a more of enough reason. Gas could be heard all around the room when he said that word, as all of them turned their head towards the Hokage. The Civilian Council was shocked. Did he say that he was a son of the 4th Hokage? No, he must be lying, as Harrison blinked in shock. Meanwhile outside, Jiraiya was leaning up against the door as he was hearing everything from inside. He didn't step in because he didn't really like those old fossils that much, but he was here to hear what was going to happen. The Anvus were out there with him. Jiraiya was also thinking about a lot, as he was wondering if he should reveal himself to be Naruto's godfather. After all, the kid would need him in this time. But then he overheard what Naruto just said. He knew? But guys, we'll be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.